Hi everyone. Today we are going to see how to change the cable that goes from the igniter coil to the distributor and the four cables that go from the distributor to the individual spark plugs and all the four spark plugs. So please pay attention to the order in which these cables are connected from the distributor to the individual spark plug. So it's always a good idea to either note it down somewhere, take individual photos or replace it one by one. So first up, we'll change this main cable that goes from the igniter coil to the distributor. And just to be on the safer side, it's always a good idea to disconnect the ground terminal from the battery. So this uses a socket 10. So just remove it and keep the ground terminal aside so you don't cause any shorting due to the tools or anything of that order. For the main cable that goes from the igniter coil, just wiggle it out and it will come off like this. This cable goes to the center of the distributor. Just pull it out. Just pull the cable out. Now for the replacement cable set, I have got this ignition cable set from Bosch. It's a very good company, good in electricals and such. They are the OEM for many manufacturers, so I went with them. You can also get MGP's individual cables if you desire so. This is how the individual cables look. The one that connects to the igniter coil has a red rubber casing and the others have the correct lengths. Plus they also have these ferrules with the numbers marked on them. So let's change these cables one by one. So we have changed all the cables, the one that comes from the igniter coil to the distributor and the four individual cables from the distributor to each spark plug. Only the last two cables are a little hard because of the access issue. You have this air intake hose on top and this condenser pipe of the refrigerant line going at the bottom. So you'll have to squeeze your hand like this and pull it out and insert it. But otherwise it's a straightforward procedure, removing the cable one by one and putting the new one. So I went for a quick test drive by connecting this ground terminal back and to see if there are no problems, and it's working as it should. The next order of business is to change the spark plugs. Now spark plugs, like I said, these are okay, these two, but the last two have a bit of an access problem. So what I did was I have got this universal joint. So if you have a universal joint like this, it will make your work a whole lot simpler. This one is from Stanley. Just ask for a half-inch universal joint and they'll give you this. It costs about 200 bucks or something. And one end is connected to the half-inch extension bar and the other goes to the spark plug socket. So what you need to do is connect this. This is the half-inch extension and this is the spark plug socket. Now this socket is unlike the other hex sockets, because this has a slightly larger length. Some of them have a rubberized inner lining as well to hold on to that spark plug when you pull it out, so it doesn't remain inside the cavity when it is loosened. But this will do for now. For the replacement spark plugs, I've got a set of four Bosch plugs. You can also get NGK ones, the more expensive iridium ones with that pointed central electrode, or even the ones from Denso, or even the local Myco. I've settled for Bosch. To remove the spark plug, what you need to do is gently pull out this igniter cable. And once you do it, you can see the spark plug right there. Insert the socket with that extension and the universal joint. Gently turn it counterclockwise to loosen it and pull it out. So the old plugs are from Myco. As you can see, the gap is perfect. Sometimes the central electrode wears out, but this one seems to be in good condition. It was working anyway. We were just changing it as a part of maintenance. So this is a replacement plug from Bosch. Guys, just a word of caution. When you have pulled out the old spark plug from the cavity, you need to replace the new one as early as possible without any delays to prevent anything getting inside that combustion chamber. Because if something falls into the combustion chamber, it will cause a lot of damage to the engine while operating. So please take care of this aspect. Now, the topic of spark plugs, I wanted to draw your attention to the distance between the two electrodes in a spark plug, which comes preset for most plugs. But in some cases, you may have to adjust the gap. Maruti recommends a gap of 0.7 to 0.8 mm as per the user manual of the Zen. You can actually test this gap using a simple caliper or a gauge. Ensure that it does not exceed this gap, otherwise you are likely to get misfiring while running the engine. So this was one of the hard to access spark plugs that we are trying to remove right now. You can see how much gap is remaining there. So we have changed the four spark plugs. Here are the old Myco ones. The condition is quite okay, by the way. And like I brought out before, the last two ones, accessing them is a little hard, but otherwise it's okay. The cables have all been changed, and we'll just go for a quick test drive to see everything is in order. With regard to this ignition cable, I wanted to bring out that some folks, they would want to put some insulating uh, grease, something like dielectric grease, or they sometimes even put Vaseline inside. But I don't recommend doing that because these are rubber boots and they are meant to hold out water. So I haven't applied any dielectric grease or Vaseline inside them. They are as dry as ever. So that's all that's required for this procedure. Notice this distinctive click when you insert that cable back into the spark plug. So you don't have to exert too much of force or pressure while doing that. And as regards to this distributor here, you may have to change this gasket because you will notice a lot of oil leak on top of the transmission assembly. In which case you can replace this gasket, and there are two O-rings inside the distributor. You can replace those as well, and you can get rid of all the leaks there. Let's start the engine and go for a short test ride to see if things are in order. Let's take a look at all the parts used. This is the Bosch ignition cable set, which comes with 5 different cables. This is a spark plug from Bosch that I've used in my car. Costs about 79 rupees. And this is the explorer diagram showing the distributor assembly, the igniter assembly, and the cable set. And this parts diagram shows the spark plug and the gasket used inside the distributor. That would be all, guys. Thank you so much for watching.